I think you can read this as a AABB structure. There's 8 verses. So oftentimes people say ABCD, but there's different types of structures. Perhaps it's a AABB, then going back to AA, and then BB. And there are 2 themes. One is a non-sin mitzvah theme. It's just I'm calling out to you from the depths. Perhaps it's some sort of psychological depths, some despair, some loneliness, right? That's A. B is discussion around the normative sins and what we've done wrong. And so whenever it's talking about A, there's no mention of sin. It's talking about a personal experience. Whenever it's talking about B, it seems it's talking about sins, and it's talking about the collective, about Israel. So let's take a look at that. First 2 verses I'm saying is A, which doesn't really, no mention of sin. It's about hope. It's on an individual level. So it says, from the depths I've called to you, O Lord. It doesn't mention sin. Hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to my plea. Right? So those are the 2 verses. A, I'm calling out to you, have your ear be attentive to my plea. Now we're going to go into B, which is the discussion of sin. If you, Lord, should keep account of sins, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there's forgiveness, for you may be held in awe. So now we're in the category of sin versus being farther God due to sin. Now, if you pay attention, the A talks about being in the depths. That's very deep. B speaks about not being able to stand. That might be a little different standing. Sometimes when perhaps in your psychological or internal loneliness, you feel extremely far from God. And maybe it's harder to get yourself up out of it. But when you're missing sins, you've done something wrong, you can perhaps fix the sin or come back. Now let's go back to the verses. It says, I wait for the Lord, we're back in A now. I wait for the Lord, my soul waits, and in his word I put my hope. My soul waits for the Lord more than watch and wait for the morning, more than watch and wait for the morning. So it's talking about nafshi, both verses. Me. It doesn't talk about Israel. It talks about me and my personal experiences, my nefesh. And it doesn't speak about sins. It speaks to I'm yearning for you, I'm hoping for you. Okay, so that's B. And now it's going to go back to A. That's A. Now it's going to go back to B, which is, again, a discussion around sins. It says, Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is loving kindness, and great is his power to redeem. It is he who redeemed Israel from all their sins. So the subject there is Israel. So if you could do this A-B separation, you see there's 2 themes seems to be running through here. I think it works out on multiple levels. I have one thought on what that's about. Perhaps there's two different types of disconnection from God. One is I feel far from God because I'm not performing the mitzvot. I'm not in line with God's will. I'm doing sins. And that can be a very difficult situation. Praying for God to help us in all of Israel experience that, because that's a national level. That's why it talks about Israel. But on a personal level, sometimes we feel far from God. Maybe we feel distant. We're sad about what's going on in the world. We just feel we don't know where God is. And in those moments, you have to hope to God. And you have to double down on hope. That's why it says it twice. Kiviti, mishamrin the boker. So I think if you think this through, I think it works nicely, the A-B structure. And I think it offers a direction for sins, come back to God, but also on a personal level, especially in like times of despair, times of loneliness, times of fear, anxiety. We have to double down on our faith. Keep waiting for God. And if we don't see it, keep waiting again. We have to keep putting more of an emphasis on faith and trust in God.